Hello everybody, my name is Wattles. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to our amazing build city series. If I'm being honest, by the end of this series I might, just maybe, have the intro down, but nonetheless, welcome back. After last episode I asked and you answered, so today's episode is going to be all about interiors. Stick around till the end to catch what the next poll will be about. And just to remind you, this is episode 3. There have been 2 episodes now before this one. There will be a playlist on the end slide, and I'll pop a card up in a minute when I do the recap. And as always, if you want to see more of this series, make sure you drop a like and please do consider subscribing. Also, thank you for my recent 50k subscriber milestone. I'm working on a special, and yeah, just thank you so much. It's awesome, and it's unbelievable, and yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. So, recap time. Last episode was all about the buildings themselves. We actually got all of these buildings in by the end of the last episode, except the forge, which I just added in. In that episode, I went over quite a few tips on how to make your builds look better from the outside. I also went over some of my best tips for circular builds, so check that episode out if you haven't done so yet. There may be a little bit of information in this video that won't make sense if you didn't see that episode. There's a card on screen now, and now it's time to start today. So, recap out of the way, time to move on. This episode is going to be done a little different than the last ones. My plan for this episode is to actually just build 3 building interiors and kind of talk about what I'm doing as I'm doing it. For interiors, I don't really have any brand new tips or a specific thing that you should or shouldn't do. However, I do have a lot of blocks that I like to use. Those blocks are what we're seeing right in front of us now. My go-to block when I don't know what to place is usually actually a note block. I think note blocks look absolutely amazing inside of builds, and what do they represent? Well, don't ask me. I have no clue what they represent. You gotta have some imagination. But I do know what this dark oak block represents. The dark oak block represents just building blocks. If you're having trouble with your build and it looks way too open or empty, maybe try placing a wall in and splitting the build up a little bit more so you can repeat techniques in, different rooms. Maybe repeating things in the same room will look weird, but, if you can't see the repetition, maybe it'll work a little better. Flower pots with flowers that match the vibe of the room are amazing to use as well. So these are my go-to blocks. Really, you can use whatever blocks you'd like, but I think it's time to decorate a house. So let's start off with, I think this house here, it's just a plain old house, so we don't really have any kind of guide or any goal to create in here. Let's start with the floor. Maybe we'll do an oak plank floor with a little bit of a twist. Now, be careful when you're doing a floor. I find that you don't really want your floor block to match the wall block. So, I have cobble and I have spruce planks here. Spruce planks or cobble probably shouldn't be on the floor, but we'll start with all of these oak planks and then come back and mix in some stripped oak wood logs. Thanks to these wonderful oak logs and just stripped log variants, floors got way easier to do. Instead of a solid plank floor, try something like this and your floor will look a lot more interesting. Now, let's take a look at the ceiling really quick. We'll start by extending our walls up so we, have a little bit more of something to look at, and then, after doing this, we'll realize that didn't really help, and so it's time to break out a block. And this time, the block that we're breaking out is going to be plain old stone brick. We'll start by just kind of covering the whole ceiling, smoothing it out. Next, in these weird little corners, we'll place some stairs down to smooth that connection, and then finally this thing. So again, just a bunch of stairs, and then maybe even more stairs there. We'll have the roof dip way down like that. I think that's nice. And then over here, maybe we do another stair, and why not? Another stair there to keep things symmetrical, and then one final one there. I think that solves the roof problem, so we're good to actually start detailing the build. First off, let's start with a bed. I'm going to go with the red bed because I will be placing lots of bookshelves in here. I find that red and then the blue beds, so blue, cyan, and light blue, match bookshelves very, very well because of all of the colors on the bookshelves. We have a lot of red here, which really pops out, and we also have quite a bit of blue. So we'll do a red bed, some bookshelves, and then, of course, we need to tie that color into the floor, so let's do a red carpet. I also always advise hiding lighting underneath your carpet wherever you can, so pretty much every single carpet should have a light source underneath it. This will help keep your build nice and bright. Let's throw a window back there to open things up a little bit more, and then, maybe this area becomes a kitchen. So we'll place 2 furnaces, and then we need my favorite kitchen counter block. Actually, on second thought, let's move the kitchen to this back corner. I think that'll work a little bit more. But anyways, my favorite kitchen counter block is andesite in 1.13. I just love how this stuff looks. And then, of course, don't forget about cauldrons. Cauldrons make amazing sinks. Now, a fun little, stovetop trick here. If we place an item frame on top of our furnaces, and then something in the item frame, probably a food, and then finally some detector rails there, we have an amazing looking stovetop. I have a weird intersection here though, so maybe let's try placing a beam going straight up. This is what I mean about just placing blocks and trying to break your build up a little bit more. Let's turn the wall and have it go like that, so we walk in and then turn, and now our kitchen makes a whole lot more sense. But we do have this weird corner here, so we could probably just honestly fill it all in like that, and yep, that is perfect. That's how I like the kitchen. Let's extend the counter like that because we have 2 stoves there, so that should be good. Can we put a window here? Ah, yes we can. Yes, yes, yes. Always try to place as many windows as possible because windows just open up your build and, let a lot of light in, which looks good. Finally, to pretty much finish up this build, let's come in here with some flower pots and place some blue flowers inside of those pots to tie everything together. The colors that I'm choosing here are very, very intentional. The blue also ties into the bookshelf, which makes things look even nicer. Picking a random color flower, so maybe, I don't know, like a pink one, won't really match as well and tie things in together. But I think we're pretty much done with this one, so let's move on to our next build here. Next up, let's do this building here, which I think was going to be part of a stable, which we actually haven't done yet. We will get to that a little later on in the series, though. Let's do a stone floor this time, and then we'll use a little trick that I like to use on the stone floors. You see, andesite is amazing because it not only makes a wonderful looking counter, but when paired with stone or stone brick or really any other gray block, it looks very, very nice. So maybe something like that, just again, a randomized floor. Now, let's say we want, I don't know, like some beds over here. We'll do 2 beds in here. And then, of course, we need a nightstand, so we can place an enchanting table. But if you place lighting underneath your enchanting table, it will go through that table. Enchanting tables are transparent, so use that to your advantage. If you have a dark corner and you have like a table, try placing a lighting source underneath the table and watch your room have less creepers inside of it. Now, I think eventually I'll be placing a door over here, so we'll just kind of reshape that and plan for a door there. But the ceiling again, it looks bad, it's ugly, and it's no good. So, how do we want to tackle it this time? Aha, just like that. There we go. So all I did in here was more stairs. Stairs will save your ceiling. Remember that. Stairs are very, very nice. Now, I don't know if we really want to have any kind of beam hanging down here, but what we could have hanging in the middle is a light, so we'll keep that in mind. I think over here we could probably use a counter, but we've already used my favorite counter block in the floor, so we're going to need to come up with something different. Maybe we'll try acacia. See, acacia wood will work, but we can't place it right next to this wood or things are going to start to look a little bit weird. So maybe we do, I don't know, something like that could work. That's a little better. Yeah, maybe a counter like that, and we'll place a brewing stand there and just not think about it too much. Now, I think I want to shorten the window here, so we'll do that. And then, of course, we need some levers going into these here. And the point of the levers are to be the faucets. So, unfortunately, we get this little redstone particle effect when they're on. You'll have to just ignore it or keep the sink off. You probably shouldn't leave it on anyways, so that's probably good like that. And then finally, we have this empty wall over here, which I am not a big fan of. To fix empty walls, try paintings. Paintings are meant to fill up walls anyway, so they're kind of good for this job. I really like to place paintings uneven and random, so I'm just like scattering these things all over the wall, and I think that makes the wall look kind of cool. A little bit better than what it looked like before. And, I did say this was a stable, so we can't forget the horse armor that we would have at the stable, kind of ready to go onto the horses. So remember what your build is. There's a whole lot of blocks in Minecraft, and, if you're building a bakery, place a lot of food. If you're building a stable, maybe some armor. If you're building an armory, maybe some weapons and frames on the wall, or really anything like that. On Bedrock, you can't place frames on the tables or the ceilings or anything like that, so you'll have to do the wall, which works just as well. Clocks also make nice wall decorations in empty spaces. And then finally, to help open up this wall even more, I'll place a random window there, which I think will look, yeah, that looks fine from the outside. And finally, we'll do the small farmhouse here for our final build of today's episode. I'd like to talk about you, good friend who commented, what about the 1.14 blocks wattles? Yes, what about them? This is 1.13, so they don't exist quite yet. But once 1.14 releases, interiors and decorating and everything like that is going to get way easier. For now, we'll just have to make do with what we have, but yes, I haven't forgotten about those. We're just not really using them today. Now, unfortunately, I haven't had any dead space quite yet where I can show off my note block technique, so we'll create some fake dead space in here and say we need a note block there. I also need a door back on the build, so there we go. I'm going with sandstone floor in here because I absolutely love how sandstone looks. This is a farmer's house, so maybe we need some hay inside. Why? I don't know why. Because it's a farmer, of course. Now, do you remember a few minutes ago when I said, don't use the same block on the floor as you are using on the wall? Well, don't use the same block on the ceiling as you are using on the wall either. That is going to create an awkward situation. So just try and use different blocks on the different parts of your build. You can definitely use the same floor and the same ceiling or something like that, but the more different blocks you get, the better your build is probably going to look, so try and switch it up a little bit. And in a build like this, where we have this weird small area, I'll usually just create a fireplace. So how do we want to do this? Maybe we want a brick fireplace. So really, it just comes down to playing around with blocks. So maybe we'll place bricks like that and then stairs there. And, well, we can't really do a gate unless we did, how could we do this? We could go here and here, but does that look good? Probably not. Probably not, unless we do that. That looks a little better. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So we'll do that there, and then maybe, not a big fan of that one either, so let's switch this all up again. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Let's do this. Here we go. Like that. That's perfect for a little chimney. I'm happy. I'm content with that one. Maybe we do some bars there. And actually, we'll have the bar come out like it's an open door. So, yep, that's good. That solves that problem. Now, another tip with bookcases this time. Let's say we want some books in here, but we just don't have a lot of room. Maybe we place our bookshelves like that randomly and then come back in with oak slabs and just connect up your bookshelves. This will create a bookshelf that is kind of hanging and makes a little bit more sense. So here we go. Our bookshelf is nice and solid and connected, and it will never fall. It makes sense because of gravity. Then, of course, we have the note block in this corner to kind of fill things up a little bit more. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to show that off a little bit more in this video, but if you have a dead space where you don't know what to do, try a note block. Note blocks look nice pretty much anywhere, and they'll work pretty much anywhere. Finally, some carpet in the middle of this house to polish things off, and I think we have created a wonderful looking little farmhouse here. So it's time to just pop the chimney out, and there we go. I think that is perfect. I really like that. So that just about does it for our episode today. Interiors are sometimes hard, but also pretty fun to do. I have to be honest, interiors are where I struggle probably the most. Usually I can never come up with good ideas, and yeah, it's just hard. But like everything else in this game, trial and error. Just practice a little bit and you'll get better at what you're doing. If you have a theme or a vision for the building you're doing, keep that in mind and your interior will get a whole lot easier. If you're building like a barrack, you'll probably want some armor stands inside and maybe some hanging weapons. If you're building a farmhouse, maybe some hay bales, because why not? But that's pretty much it for this episode of the series. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope I was able to teach you something during this video. Now, the poll. What are you guys choosing next? Well, I think the next episode is going to be on terraforming and landscaping, that type of thing. So, I'll have a poll related to that on the community tab right now. So go vote in that and tell me what I should really do in the next episode. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe for more videos from me. Check out my Twitter, it's linked down in the description. I also have a Patreon if you love what I do and you'd like to support me directly. I do have lots of cool benefits if you choose to do that, and I always appreciate it. And I know, one more thing. Drop a build tip for me, for interiors, down below in the comments, because that is where I personally struggle most. But I've got a few more interiors to finish up now, so that's just about it for me. My name is Wattles, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, go have a good day. Goodbye, everybody.